Okay, chapter 4, Mishnah 12. We're on page 566 of the Art Scroll Sutta. Rabbi Meir says, Chave muma'et be'esek. You should diminish your involvement in work. Ba'asek b'Torah. And you should involve yourself in Torah. V'chave shafal ruach bifnei kol adam. And you should be modest of spirit. Right? Not arrogant, before all people. Whether they're a clerk or a king. Right? That you should be humble and modest before them. V'im batalta min haTorah. And if you should neglect Torah, right? Batalta, you should nullify yourself from the Torah, remove yourself, take yourself out of Torah. Yesh lacha b'telim charbe kenegdacha. You will find that you will have many, many reasons to neglect it. Right? There's lots of things that will get in your way. V'im amalta b'Torah, but if you toil in Torah, yesh lo schar charbe litein lach. But if you find a way in time and energy to toil in Torah, God has plenty of schar for you to give to you. It says, Chave mema'et be'esek. So, we'll see that there's two synonymous languages that are used in a few different Mishnayot through Avos. One is al tarbe. For example, in the 6th Mishnah of the first paragraph, it says, al tarbe sichli ha'isha. Don't overindulge in. That you need to have some, but don't get carried away in sichel. You'll see in the middle of the 6th parak, in the 48 ways, that it says b'miut in a lot of things. B'miut, aseg, sleep. So b'miut, have miut be'esek, means that there should be a downward pressure.
There should not be.
That it should be, where we see in Avos this word miut, right? It means that you have to have some, but you should be pushing against it. That your natural tendency will be to be more involved in the thing than you need to be involved in the thing. Right? There's a drive. If you ask people, how much time do you need to spend in business at work, right? If you go back to your typical factory worker, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, he'd say 40 hours a week, right? If you're in France, it's 36 hours a week. If you're a high-tech guy these days, it might be, certain cultures, it's 100 hours a week, right? And if you're, young and upper-comer, the guys are sleeping on the floor and they're pulling all-nighters every day, and that's the culture. And you have to be, what is it? Right? There's almost a cultural pressure to work. The people have a natural drive, even though we're generally lazy, but to be involved in, because it's money. I want more money. And I want pride, and I want success, and there's a natural drive to maximize the time that you spend at your job. And he says, he wants to understand, Ramiro says, it's not the most important thing in your life. Right? These are all guys that worked. These are all guys that supported themselves. These are all, whether they were as bricklayers or carpenters or tanners or whatever it was, they had shopkeepers, and you see throughout our history, our teachers who had involvement in the world, but it wasn't the essence of their lives. They did not define themselves around what they were doing, for Parnasa. That I want to be involved in Torah and learning and Chesed and Kehillah and the needs of the Tzibor as much as I can be, and I will fit in, the work that needs to happen to support myself. That's his advice. He says, Chavi Mamait, and it's very important for us. Because work will overwhelm everything. You will become a guy whose whole life, are you living to eat or eating to live? Your whole life will become involved in the job, in the sustenance, and away from the values. He says, push it away, and put that time into Torah. Whether that time in Torah is time of learning, whether that Torah time is, as I said, it's the needs of a community. There's lots of different ways to figure out which works for you. But at the time of your life, the extra minutes or extra hours should not flow towards, wasted hours at work. Right? You got to do what you got to do. But he says you want to create a downward pressure. Be mamiu. Chave mamayit. V'chavishafo ruach bifnei kol adam. And before people, you should be modest. You should be humble. That how do you deal with human beings? And this is again citing an idea that we've seen before, that your life is not always about how do I get to be the boss. Or why am I working so hard? I'm working so hard so I can have more money. So I can have a bigger house and a bigger car and more luxuries and be more important, to be a bigger, it's like, you know what? And if I don't get on that rat race, I'm not going to be, the biggest guy in the office. Right? I'm not going to have that C in front of my title. I'm not going to be the CEO or the CFO or the CTO or the CIO or the, C what, right? I'm not going to be a VP or an EVP or a, right? He said, you know what? Relax. Your job, you're created here to be involved in a life of Torah and growth and spirituality and wholesomeness. And you have to work. So work. And work successfully. And work productively. Right? And work to the best of your level. But put a downward pressure on it. Don't always be looking to figure out how you can steal 1 extra hour from your kids and put it into the office. Steal the hour from your office and put it into your kids. V'im batela min haTorah, because if you ignore Torah, but if you find excuses or reasons to pull yourself away from learning, to pull yourself away from values, to pull yourself away from growth, he says you will find that there's always another opportunity to do it. That whatever it is, you said, today it's more important to do this. You know what? Tomorrow it'll be more important to do something else. And you'll find yourself grinding through your life day after day, and you'll find yourself 20 years from now in the same position you are today, with no growth and no learning and no forward movement. But if instead you put your effort into working in Torah, right, and what you're earning isn't the extra dollar, which is just going to get eaten up. In the end, it says, Yesh lo schar harbe litein loch. Right, that the boss is going to pay you. And what you're going to get paid in is something that's eternal, something that's permanent. What you're going to get paid in is a perfection of your soul. What you're going to get paid in is a connection to your kids. What you're going to get paid in is a connection to your wife. What you're going to get paid in is you being a bigger, stronger, more wholesome, spiritually healthy neshama.